Hello, it's Molly Reamer with Bridget's Grove in 30 Days of Goddess with a quick fall prayer book flip through. And these books are different than my 30 Days of Goddess daily practice prayer books. These are seasonal, and I create two editions. I create one that has content, seasonal content, for our Goddess Magic community on Patreon. That's patreon.com/goddessmagic. And so patrons there get the printable files to make an autumn magic prayer book, bits of magic and dollops of delight. They get those files approximately 8 times a year to make a little seasonal prayer book. And so I usually give a mini version as well that can be put into the larger 30 Days of Goddess prayer book, or you can just enjoy it as a seasonal reader for inspiration, for encouragement, for little dollops of delight. And then I also make one that I call a make your own magic prayer book, which is essentially blank pages. I put little seasonally appropriate graphics on them, but instead of there being any content from me, the pages are just blank. I do include 30 of them, so if you wanted to use this as a really simple prayer book practice instead of the daily practice journals that have more of a structured process and system for them, you can use it for a 30 days practice. Most people use them in addition to their 30 Days of Goddess books, not in place of them, but they could be used in place of them. And they also can be independent of 30 Days of Goddess at all and can just be for your own personal enrichment and enjoyment. It took me probably about 2 months to finish working on this one. I use it as almost a kind of spillover journal from my larger books. And if I had little extra bits of leftover things that I wanted to use, I added them in the book. So I'm going to do, this video is actually going to cover both books at once so that I don't overwhelm people with too many videos close together, all about books. And for the one that has content already included, I used a Hestia card from Dancing Goddess Dolls, and I'm one of Kelly Lincoln's patrons, and you get a little themed card every month in the mail, magic mail, and so I used her as the cover. Inside I have art cards from Effie Wild. I'm one of her patrons on Patreon as well, and so I use those to kind of reinforce the inner covers. I have these cool feather bookmarks, and so I had one of those in there. This one I did not do a lot of coloring in. Sometimes I do, but essentially I am spending a lot of time lately with the mini prayer books that I made for 30 Days of Goddess, and so a lot of my spillover journaling has gone into those instead. And so I found I didn't have as much to put into the seasonal books. So again, it's your choice. You would be welcome to just do the seasonal book, or to do the daily practice book, or to do all the books. So I primarily relied on stickers, and then this has content that's included. So I primarily just did stickers and filled it up, embellished it that way. And this little book becomes kind of a little bit of a seasonal companion, a little bit of a seasonal guide, a little dose of seasonal enchantment and magic for the Goddess Magic community. And so then the make your own magic version, I had gotten these that I sent to patrons as well, and so I used that on the back. It's really supposed to be sewed or ironed onto something, but I just glued it down. And then this card is actually from Lucy Pierce of Womancraft Publishing, and she had sent me it, I think with an order or something like that, and I saved it, and I thought it made a nice cover. Again, Effie Wild card on the inside to reinforce the cover and back cover, and then that was an art card that I also got. And this one I used quite a bit of stickers too. I have an extra bookmark stuck in my pocket that I was using. I used some pages torn out of a proof copy of Whole and Holy, a Goddess devotional, and so I tore some of those pages out, made some pockets, and like I said, I kind of treat this as like a spillover journal, in that things that didn't get used in my other prayer books, I go ahead and put them in this little one instead. And I didn't end up coloring things. As I said, I think I'm using my regular 30 Days of Goddess practice book, and I'm using my mini pocket edition too, and basically that's kind of enough for me, so I don't really need a whole bunch more. So this one didn't get a bunch of coloring or anything, just thematic and spillover content. So that again is from Whole and Holy. This is from a Witch's Date book that I got explicitly to cut up. I got a 2020 edition on purpose for like $5 expressly to cut up. And art coloring page from Joni Ray, Tales of a Kitchen Witch. I'm one of her patrons on Patreon. And so I like to get those. More from Witch's Date book, more torn out of Whole and Holy. This is actually like a double bookmark that goes on to the next page. This was actually a picture from a nature magazine that I thought was kind of funny and a little dramatic. And I had actually saved it for my daughter who likes foxes. She never used it. I found it on the floor and I was like, what the heck? I'm just going to put it into my bag. This was a Samhain Oracle from Warts and Cunning, Alexis J. Cunningfolk. And I got it printed on better paper this year, and so I had a past year's printout, and I went ahead and put the cards into my little pocket. This is I just now noticed that I put bear going this way instead of right side up. That's funny. These mandalas were from a Hay House free coloring book that I minimized down to quarter page size and got printed out specifically to use in the prayer books. They're normally like a whole page mandala, and I got them scaled down. This one I did kind of a blackout poem. This was a scrap from something else I was using, and so I then did a blackout poem on one of the poems that Hecate Doe from our Creative Spirit Circle had submitted to Whole and Holy, and then I turned it into something else. And then I found, these are these little kinds of notes. I was cleaning up the kids' room, and I found this little mermaid's picture and note, and there's another one in here in a minute that you'll see that says Tanner, and I just went ahead and stuck with my book. Why not? From Witch's Date book. I just use stickers, not a lot of words. I am Reagan Ralston, Water of Whimsy's patron on Patreon as well, and she sends out seasonal magic mail as well, so I stuck the note from that in there. Another coloring page, reduced, again, this is reduced to a quarter page size, from Joni Ray. There's Tanner's little name. He writes more clearly than that now, so it's kind of nice to have those little memories. Notes in my pockets. More blackout from scraps. Another Joni Ray. Leftover from the back of a prayer book. Permission slips that I'd made based on a poem that I wrote, but then I also I made them into a set of permission slips and gave them to the Goddess Magic people on Patreon, patreon.com/goddessmagic. And so I put that in there. Joni Ray, stickers, I did color that. This is from the Witch's Date book. And then I went ahead and took the Samhain section out and put it in, made it kind of a little fold out with info. One of our own 30 days business cards with an extra graphic. I did color the little pumpkin house. Oops, that's gonna have to get arranged later. I did color the little pumpkin house, and then I actually cut my own pumpkin this year on Halloween, kind of like that. Not quite as cute, but some more leftovers from the small prayer book. Another one of the mandalas from Hay House, and another coloring page from Joni Ray. And then here we are at the end already. And so that is a make your own magic prayer book. It can really be very, very flexible container for holding whatever it is you want to hold. There will be another one coming up in the winter. It will be sent out on our newsletter mailing list, which you can access via bridgesgrove.com. The file will come out free for anybody who's on the mailing list for the winter edition, and then the winter one with reader content and thoughts and little dollops of inspiration that will go out to the Goddess Magic community in December as well. So thank you so much for watching, and may you enjoy making your own magic and discovering your own dollops of delight and scraps of enchantment. Thanks for being here.